In the bottom left side, we got a red Protoss player fighting for the ratio edge. Gamers, he is ZEST. He's going up against the blue Terran, the powerhouse in the top right side, the one-man army. He is BYUN. We're going to be saying that a lot today. We're going to have to come up with some new nicknames for him. Some more festive nicknames. The man who uses other pro players as their reindeer, pretty much. To make sure his sleigh goes even further forwards. The blue Terran. It's not Santa Claus, it's BYUN. BYUNta Claus. Alright, we'll get better with it over time, I hope. Oh jeez. Quite a bit of fortune there. Will be needed. Will we see Mulder and Scully? I don't think so. I don't think so. I hope not. Little doggo there. Christmas doggo. Did they add any kind of Christmas hats this time around actually for the workers? I remember there was quite the uproar about the hats previous time they did hats on the workers. Probably not, right? Or is that now just a feature you can add on whenever you feel like it? Oh, I did not see that binom. That's ridiculous. It's a clever little ZEST ploy right there, figuring out where to put that proxy just precisely in order to not be figured out. Very cool stuff. Alright, Reaper waiting for some probes to be appearing here as well. Looks like the Stalker already somewhat aware of this being a potential, but not going to find that Reaper, so we'll leave the base as well. Or at least stay on the forefront of things. Reaper scouts here, may be able to get a probe, and then may be able to get himself the good scout off as well here, of course. Alright, he's going to prioritize other probe kills. Fair enough. It's going to be rough with that Stalker in the neighborhood, but there we go, scoots on out of there. Didn't quite see anything, right? I mean, no scouting being done at all whatsoever. But he could still accidentally run into a Stargate here, of course. Oh, yes he will. No, he won't. You're kidding me. How? How, ZEST, you brilliant mastermind. Look at this. That's ridiculous. Oh, okay, here we go. Now he's spotted, but the Oracle already on the field. There is a Cyclone on the way, so that should be some good mechanism to kind of hold this back. 5 Marines, also a good tool to have to try and get rid of these kind of Oracles, and actually does manage to get it. So, a bit surprised there actually from the micro of ZEST staying on top of those Marines there for such a long period of time. Was not anticipating ZEST to lose that Oracle so quickly. Interesting stuff. That's what we got right now. Reaper's like, alright, I'll get rid of it. I'll get rid of that pylon, guys. Don't you worry about it. And he's dead. Good effort. Good effort overall. No more further construction taking place within that Stargate. We do have a gateway being placed down at the same time as over there, though, and I have to wonder what kind of aggression we're going to be seeing from this. I mean, that'll bring up the gateway count to 3. And with 3 gateways, I suppose you can get a bit of Stalker aggression going. You will be able to get a couple of Stalkers here in front of the base, right? Do a little bit of poking, but he's not even warping them in offensively here. So maybe because of the secondary scout, he changed his mind because, well, he's also making a 3rd Nexus, which never quite indicated that we're going to get a very aggressive Protoss player here. I may still try to poke a little bit, right? But nothing there to really kill off a winning chunk of units. A chunk of units that make you anticipate that you will win the rest of this game. Just, you know, give you a good lead in any upcoming battle here. Which, you know, overall could lead you into having the victory. There's definitely no doubt about that, but still difficult for ZEST to really get this going. We do have Stimulate, yes we do. Doesn't want to really use it, of course, though, against these Stalkers, as they can just blink away. Kind of the blink is what they were aiming for here as well, I suppose. Okay, there we go. Does manage to get one on the Stalkers now. Also, the 2 medeffects are here, so a bit more free to use that stim. Gets a couple more trading Stalkers for bio units. You know what? Overall, all going to be worth it there for BYUN. A bit surprised, actually, that ZEST is trying his best to kind of keep tabs on this army this much. Well, I understand that he's keeping tabs on the army. I'm just a bit flustered that he's trying to poke in this much, you know? He doesn't have anything to check for the high ground, so it makes sense that he's not going for that. But still. A bit surprising. Ooh, that's a lot of gateways. Well, hello. There were a lot of gateways. Oh, the SimCity for ZEST is quite peculiar as well, isn't it? Like a really tiny choke point over here. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but that seems like it could cause some problems later on if you're trying to get zealots into your main base or something like this for a big drop that is going on. Or even Stalkers, right? That's going to be a problem. Anything, really. Gonna have difficulty getting into that main base. Alright, well, anyway. Here we go. Big attack coming in for BYUN. 58 army supply strong versus 28. That's a good opportunity here. As soon as those siege tanks are in position. There we go. Immediately getting rid of that shield battery. No overcharge will be utilized this time around. Pylon. Okay. Alright, it's going to go into the main base here, perhaps. Wow, leaving all those siege tanks alone. Nice bit of warping in there, causing those infantry units to kind of get stuck there. Although there is apparently another way upwards, which you can take as well. And yeah, a bit surprised there of the engagement of BYUN, but still managed to get that Archon, gets reinforcements in here, and will be trying his hands a bit further to squash the opposition. Get rid of the Protoss presence on this map. It's not really working out too swell for him so far. Has to move backwards, back home again. So yeah, very often with these kind of engagements, what we saw here with the siege tanks sieged up, right? The Terran trying to poke in, force the Protoss to respond, tank a couple of tank shots, and then hopefully they move back again. And you try to do that continuously, right? Try to force them to make mistakes, walk just a little bit too far into the siege tank fire, and gain your momentum that way as a Terran. Instead, what we saw from BYUN, also quite interesting, right? He had his siege tanks over here, and he moved his bio towards the main base, while the army of ZEST was mainly in between these two spaces. So, in a way, he was pulling ZEST through the siege tank fire here as well now, right? But unfortunately, with a quick warp in there from ZEST, really shut down the movements of the bio, and, well, I mean, the siege tanks there, of course, left alone and defended, so I wonder, was that the best engagement you could have gotten there? It seems to be okay overall, to be fair. Alright, here we go. This is a big attack now. Not sure if this is going to work out here for BYUN. It's losing a lot of boys. Siege tanks gone. Every bit of real defensive setup now gone, as well as those SCVs. ZEST stomping the Terran defensive setup right now. Getting even a couple more SCVs here. Just for laughs. Just for giggles. Sends everything back home again, though. I mean, he doesn't have to finish off his opponent right now, right? One of the ways where he could lose this possibly would be just kind of overextending. And then just kind of getting himself stuck in this position here. Now, losing a lot of units, suddenly a counterattack comes across the map, and yeah, you lose as much as you just managed to kill off yourself. So moving back here, just maintaining that advantage, increasing that advantage as well here, of course, building upon that lead that he just built up, so as to speak, as they say. Getting himself a 4th base, getting a robotics bay also. All the good stuff that you would like to have in this position here. Offensive warping location here does get tumbled down, but nothing too significant here for BYUN, right? It's probably not even something that ZEST is also worried about. He's like, well, only now getting this, losing this, absolutely fine. Was expecting to lose this a lot sooner. Oh, that's not looking good. Ooh, that's a lot of zealots here. Okay, good micro is required. Those Widowmines, they can definitely turn the tide in this battle here. Wait for it. That is still quite the army of the Terran coming in here. Those Widowmines may need to get themselves a little bit closer to really ensure they get the good value Widowmine shots before he loses too many of those bio units. He's going to get himself positioned in between all these locations here. Got to watch out for the Widowmines. Okay, that's a good cluster, a bit of damage, but don't think that is going to be enough here. BYUN in a bit of trouble still. Those Archons on the bottom side really doing a number onto the Marines. On the top side still, Stark is now picking away at reinforcing units, and there it is. GG is called. BYUN loses game number 1. Alright. Game number 1 there, not going quite into the favor of BYUN. We'll just see if game number 2 here has a bit more fortune for him, shall we? That was Christmas past, now we're going into Christmas present. Or something like that. Maybe this entire series is Christmas past, actually. The entire cast is Christmas past. That would be cool, actually. Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future. I don't know how you would make that happen, a Christmas future. In StarCraft 2, kind of, but we'll figure it out as we go, I suppose. We'll figure it out as we go. Best of 3, 1 point for ZEST. In the top right side, we got ourselves a red Terran. Fighting teamless, he is BYUN. There you go, you can see his name there as well. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Quality observing here. Bottom left side, blue Protoss. He is Race Your Edge Gaming. ZEST. Alright. So, Mr. BYUN. Mr. BYUN. We're starting off on a bad foot here for a BYUN day. But, yeah, it is BYUN, so I'm sure he'll turn stuff around eventually. Singular probe. Already coming across here. Quite regular for the Protoss to try and make something like this happen, of course. The probe actually got himself into a bit of trouble here. Will not be able to block that command center for any time long. Because he only has 5 HP left. One more hit and that would have been it. As the expansion for ZEST coming up as well. And let's see, BYUN, what are you doing this time, son? The Hellion opening, it would appear. Hellion opening's extremely powerful in TVP right now. It always feels, you know, like one of the best openings you can do at this moment in time. Just specifically because sometimes I'm under the impression, like, if you make those Hellions, shouldn't you then be more vulnerable to, I don't know, Blink Stalkers, stuff like this? But at the same time, it just doesn't turn out that way all the time, right? Sometimes it's like, alright, well, yeah, he made Hellions, so now he just doesn't have anything to defend the Blink Stalkers with. But at other times, it's like, alright, well, I guess you bought yourself enough time with those Hellions in order to facilitate some more solid defensive units as well back at home. The siege tank and whatnot. Adept here could find himself a bit of damage on that Marine. Secondary Marine dust bob though, yes, that's not looking forward to spending Christmas in Protoss hell here with his Adept. We'll be going away without becoming a murderer. Just a bit of brutal assault, that's all. No murder taking place. Blink upgrade for ZEST. Both these players kind of going with a bit of a regular thing. Although I was expecting more Hellions. It looks like the Hellion just kind of the scouting force here. Looking around the Christmas tree. Some very sad Christmas trees here. It's actually... Is that a cactus? Or is that a tree? Oh, I see. It's a tree and a cactus. Come on, look, that is the tree. And it goes inside of the cactus. You don't see that every day, do you? The miracles of nature at work. The cactus and the tree combining into one being. Quite interesting, quite interesting. It does happen sometimes. Gets a pylon here. Finds himself another pylon, perhaps. Wow, this is gonna supply block ZEST for quite a while here. Actually, look at that. Immediately has to put down 2 more pylons here in the main base. That was a bit of trouble, wasn't it? A random widow mine here. Don't set off on an hallucination. There we go. That's good. The Stalker's trying to find the medevac, but not quite being successful. And the Hellion's still scouting absolutely everything. So look at the amount of scouting that's been done already by BYUN here. He does not want to be caught off guard. Those are from Diablo 3. Really? The tree or the cactus? Interesting. Bit of Stalker aggression here, by the way. Already a siege tank in place. There we go. Auto turret trying to force those Stalkers deeper into the Terran base here. There's not that many Marines, but the SCV's also being utilized to try and keep this assault in check. Still a lot of SCVs here going down. Without remorse. ZEST is slain 7 of those SCVs right there. The drop, I thought the drop would have an opportunity now perhaps to get himself into the 3rd or natural base, but not gonna opt for that chance. That perhaps there will be a bit of Stalkers over there as well, ready to nip it down. The plant that looks like a... Oh, this one. I think you mean this one, right? Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? The fauna in StarCraft 2 maps doesn't get enough attention, in my opinion, in the cast. People just skip over it, right? Nobody's interested in biology here, it looks like. Well, not today. Not today. We're trying to find the perfect Christmas tree here. Something along those lines. Alright, so this is a hard situation here for BYUN, right? As soon as he moves out, ZEST most likely sends in that Warp Prism. Love the positioning with these Stalkers as well. He's so attentive just to make sure he knows the moment BYUN moves out. Now, this is the hard part, right? BYUN not that far just quite yet, so he will be triggered to actually move all the way back home with his entire force. Actually, only for a second decides to go for it anyway. Seeing that there's no extra warp-in taking place, realizing that he probably doesn't need anything else. In we go. The main base for ZEST under a bit of assault. The 3rd base also looks like that could be in a bit of distress here. Also, great force fields though, slowing this down. Oh, Stalk's on the back foot, almost getting rid of that Raven there. Would have been quite something. And BYUN actually backs up right now. Does not feel comfortable engaging in that location. I don't blame him. That was quite a bit of Protoss right there. Together with those shield batteries, always a force to be reckoned with. Wants to repair that Raven as well. There were no Colossi either, right? Seems like nothing, but well, he could have interference matrixed the Immortals. So I suppose that still gets rid of a lot of the damage, but yeah, without the clear-cut targets for that interference matrix, Sometimes you can just be left sitting there scratching your head. Do I do this? Do I not do this? BYUN deciding not to really engage at that moment in time. It's third base actually without an SUV in here for quite a while. Immediately when he sends a new one, gets targeted down again here. Immense amounts of value being found by ZEST, honestly. Who's already making his fourth base. His fourth base is going to be further along the production chain than the third base is for BYUN. That's not a good sign. Sure, Protoss is supposed to be around like one base ahead, but not like by this margin, I would say. I just want to kind of take the next base a step before the Terran. Well, that's not going to be a good fight here for BYUN. I feel like that's so much Protoss right now. Look at those Immortals just rolling down the track, getting rid of all those siege tanks. And now the rest of the army here for BYUN does arrive, but it's too late. And is it too little, though? That is the next question, I suppose, coming in. Let's see if we can get some orange-nosed zealots over here. Well, picks up some stuff. We'll be able to negate some of the anti-armor missile. Pretty darn cool, actually. Avoiding some of the anti-armor on some units that way. There's the Colossi this time around, though. They are already picking away at those marine numbers, and that's not a good fight here. Once again for BYUN. BYUN really on the ropes now. Really in a lot of trouble. Who only now has that third base, of course. Still needs to become an orbital. He knows he's gone. He's dead. GG is called. ZEST takes the first best of 3 here. ZEST has been really kicking it up a notch recently, though. That is some impressive stuff there coming out of the Protoss player. Alright,